Hey, my narcissistic abuse family. I hope everyone's doing well in spite of all the coronavirus shenanigans. It's mayhem in my home, of course. The dining room over there, still under construction, but in the home stretch, thankfully. Kids are home for 2 weeks because of the social distancing going on, so they don't have school. No anything, but my husband will have work tomorrow. So it's just me and the kiddos. I was actually, to be honest, kind of really excited about this initially, and then I realized I'm like responsible for homeschooling, and I was like, maybe this isn't super fun. Anyway, so that's what's going on over here. Today I'm talking about the mother wound. If you have ever heard this term used, it's very much applicable to us. If you had a narcissistic mother, you undoubtedly suffer from issues associated with a mother wound. This is not a clinical term. It's not a medical term. You won't find it in the DSM. Your counselor, psychologist might recognize it, but again, it's not a technical term. It's not a medical term, anything of that nature, but it is a good way to encompass all of our extensive issues caused by our narcissistic mothers. So, that being said, it may be a factor influencing your relationships with others. The mother wound, it's most often associated with daughters and mothers, but it can be applicable to sons as well. So, let's understand the mother wound. Best way to think about it is, you guessed it, it is a loss or a lack of a mother, lack of mothering. What you would typically idealize a mother to encompass, all of those characteristics, we never ever experienced that. So it is typically a deficit in the mother daughter or mother son relationship, and most often it is passed down through generations. So it's generational abuse. It's a reflection of how we have experienced parenting, and it will impact how we parent. To be honest with you, that kind of annoys me because, well, I guess you could spin that to be in a good way, because I love and treasure and cherish our beautiful children, so it absolutely has impacted the way that I parent. I strive to be the polar opposite of the rotten excuse for a mother that I was dealt growing up. So children that are raised by alcoholics, drug addicted mothers, or mothers that have mental health conditions, either diagnosed or undiagnosed, it's a way of looking at how codependency behaviors may be linked to this toxic upbringing, this rotten foundation that we experienced in childhood. All right, so there are also children that are raised by mothers that don't have these challenges. This got me because this is absolutely applicable to us. So, mothers that may provide for the physical needs of their children, the bare minimum, like food and shelter, but they do not interact with their child in a positive way, which means that they do not provide the love and attention that all children need to thrive in this world. They may not have been overtly abusive or negligent, but they may never have engaged in any, again, overt negative encounters with their children, but they were just distant and less tuned into the emotional needs of their children. So this results in a mother wound. My mother was always cold. My narcissistic mother was always cold, distant, non-nurturing, unloving, very dismissive, and excessively self-centered. So that's my experience. There are signs that we have mother wounds, undoubtedly. So adults dealing with a mother wound will often look back on their childhood and can identify issues like not feeling like they ever had their mother's approval or acceptance. Yes, check. Adults looking back with having a mother wound will also have concerns about not being loved by their mother or not being loved as much as other siblings or family members. You might also feel that you have difficulties in relating to your mother on an emotional level. No kidding. There was always some type of barrier there. No matter how hard I tried, I finally got to a place, like I'm almost 40, and I finally got to a place where I realized it is not my job to fix this woman. It is not my job to take on her issues. It is not my job to reinvent the wheel, so to speak, to try to assist these people in communicating. It's just not our job. So, what else? There is also uncertainty about your relationship with your mother, and if it could be lost with a mistake or an accident. So if you do something wrong, you're out. You feel like that. You don't have that security. You also feel like you have to, this one annoys me. So you feel like you have to protect, care for, or shelter your mother rather than the reverse of that dynamic. This is called parentification, which narcissistic mothers always find a way to do because they're so broken and desecrated inside. They're always looking for someone to love and nurture them because they have these core wounds. They have mother wounds from their childhood. So they're unresolved and they have no intention of resolving them. So they target us, their own children, to take care of them, to nurture them. So screw us, it's all about them. These types of feeling throughout childhood result in low self-esteem, feelings of self-worth, and we do not feel worthy to have positive relationships with other people. We constantly have an inferiority complex. That's not a surprise. People with a mother wound, you always feel incompetent. You have that relentless inner critic. You feel like you lack an ability to connect with others. You have deep-rooted feelings about the need for perfection and control. This is undoubtedly established by our narcissistic mothers. We feel like when we were children growing up, we were always like, if I did this better, if I did that, she'll love me more, she'll accept me. It was a hamster wheel of toxicity. There was nothing that we could ever do that would be good enough. I realized this recently, that my whole life I was striving to impress her or win her approval. Even later in life, like having this incredible family, my amazing husband, our beautiful children, it's like I was always like, look how great our kids are, look how great I did, whatever. Just irrelevant. She never was impressed. She is always condescending. Narcissistic mothers will always find a way to dismiss you, to make you feel small and not good enough, because ultimately they do not feel good enough. Projection is the name of their game. All right, so if untreated, the mother wound obviously can result in future codependent relationships where you feel like you need to constantly alter your mood, your reactions, your behavior based off of the people surrounding you, like you always did with your mother growing up. We were always trying to cater to her. She was the center of the world, and she exploited that on every level. Therapy can be instrumental in helping you to heal your mother wound by exploring the feelings of your hurt inner child. We were always ignored, unloved, unwanted, not valued. So if you're able to express these things in a safe, therapeutic environment, that can assist you in overcoming this wound. Also, we can learn to validate and love ourselves. That will create a positive emotional, mental picture of our lives at the current time, letting go of the past. And we have to develop our own self-esteem, our own confidence and self-worth. Setting boundaries is wonderful as well. I can't tell you enough. You've been on this journey with me. Going no contact has been so instrumental in my healing. I say that you basically need to stop the healing, stop the bleeding in order to heal. And I very much feel this way. Like, I never really appreciated how toxic this woman has been all throughout my life until I finally cut it off, and I stopped giving her access to hurt me. And if you watched my latest video, you saw that she put her henchman, my father, the codependent, up to trying to slander me. You know, they've always been on smear campaigns against me, but it's no less disturbing and shocking that your own parents can target you in this way and seek out to hurt you. Anyway, this video was about the mother wound, and undoubtedly, if you have a narcissistic mother, this is a gaping area of pain that we need to focus on to heal ourselves, to live our best lives going forward. All right, you guys. So I hope everybody's doing great. Like I said, in spite of the coronavirus chaos that's occurring right now. Thanks for sticking with me on this journey. I love and appreciate you all. We got this. We're educating ourselves, and we're overcoming the pain and the hurt that has resulted from our exposure to narcissistic abuse. We're bumped and we're bruised, but more than anything, we're blessed. Please give me thumbs up. Please subscribe. That would be super awesome. I appreciate each one of you. I'll see you guys soon, sometime this week, hopefully. Like I said, my kids are home for 2 weeks, and I have to educate them. God help me. Anyway, talk to you guys soon.